Hey everyone! So today was New Comic Book Day, and I got this. I got Action Comics 1025. Yeah, I'm really excited about that one. Um, and then I got Spider-Man Noir number 4, and then I got the Tales of Suspense number 39 facsimile, which I'll actually show you. Um, So it's the reprint of the first appearance of Iron Man, and I really like these facsimile editions, um, because I mean they reprint the entire comic page for page. The only difference, I think, really is the cover. Um, they changed the price, I guess, um, which I wish I wish they would. I don't know, like, oh, and I guess they add the barcode too. I wish there was some way for them to reprint the front page as it was and then still have the new price, maybe like on the back. Um, but these are pretty cool, even with that. I have the I have an X-Men one. I think it's like the first X-Men. Um, I think I have the Fantastic Four number one. And then I have some DC ones too. Both Marvel and DC will do them. I think Marvel does them more often. Um, let's see, the only one from DC that I can think of off the top of my head is Detective Comics 38, which is the first appearance of Robin. And they released that for the um, 80th anniversary. Anyway, so that's pretty cool. And I was going back and forth on getting this one because the issue 21, I bought that one because Daredevil was finally back in his red Daredevil costume. Um, I'm sorry, by the way. I'm noticing I have like purple bags sticking out over here. These are just the bags that I would get from my comic shop that ended up closing down. That's what that is. Anyway, back to this. I was not sure if I was gonna get this because issue 21 was kind of slow. There wasn't really any action. Um, but I decided to go for it because it was like at least the story was interesting, and it's written by Chip Zdarsky, who's the he's the best writer over at Marvel right now, and is kind of the reason I started watching comic review videos on YouTube because Diversity in Comics would always roast his Spider-Man books, Zdarsky's Spider-Man books, and then it was like 10 issues in, after a couple months of being roasted by Diversity in Comics, Zdarsky just kind of turned around and started writing some really good books. And he's kind of been on that trend of writing um, solid books since then. Um, he wrote so after Spectacular Spider-Man, he wrote the Invaders miniseries, and that was really good. I have all 12 issues of that, and that was a really good run. I want to get the trade paperback and send it to my buddy in the Marines. Um, and then he's been on Daredevil since it relaunched at issue 1. So anyway, he's been writing some pretty solid stuff, and so anyway, I gave this one a try, and I think I'll stay on it at least for the duration of this story. And if he continues to write good throughout the story arc, I'll stay on the book. It's like I want to. It's like I always feel dumb wasting money on bad comics, but if you write a good comic, I'm more than happy to support it with my money because the comic book industry is an industry I care about. I want to see comics last for, well, for as long as um, they can. It'd be nice if they were around for like my kids and my kids' kids, but who knows? Anyway, I'm happy to support the industry. I just feel dumb wasting money on bad books. So if Marvel can put out a good book, I will buy it. They just don't happen to put out very many good books. And I also, it's like with Action Comics, it's Bendis is such a terrible writer and it's such a bad book. But because it's Action Comics and it's Superman, I'll still I'll still buy it because I am, you know, a wholehearted DC guy. Even though I still love the Marvel characters and the MCU is amazing, it's like I will always buy Action Comics and Detective Comics, no matter what, for the duration of the comic book industry or for as long as I'm alive. Those are the two books I will absolutely always get. Um, but anyway, this was enjoyable. So review starts at 6:25. So starting with the cover, of course we have this, as you can see, tribute to Chadwick Boseman, and I think that's a really nice tribute. Um, there was one kind of similar to this when Stanley passed away, so um, I think they do a good job honoring those that have passed on. I can't say like this cover was advertised at the end of Daredevil 21, and I mean it's like it looks cool, but it really doesn't tell me anything besides Iron Man is going to be in here. Um, so it's not that informative of a cover. This is really cool right off the bat. So Daredevil has been arrested for the murder of some criminal. Um, and apparently the Supreme Court has passed a resolution that says superheroes can be tried for crimes as their superhero alter ego. So it's like, um, so it's Daredevil that's on trial, not Matt Murdock. So that way, so Matt Murdock is still he's able to show up to court in costume, and he doesn't have to take his mask off. Nobody knows, nobody still knows he's Daredevil, and so it's an interesting plot idea, and um, it's interesting that the Supreme Court passed that law. So anyway, it starts off with Daredevil being booked in jail, and so he doesn't have to be fingerprinted. He can keep his gloves on. For as good as this first, I feel like whoever the artist is, spent a long time on this front page and then kind of rushed through the second page. So anyway, he gets booked. He's saying that he can hear everybody kind of whispering behind his back. And calling him things like coward, maniac, a joke. And then he walks out and there's all these reporters and everything. And this was actually kind of nice. So we started off, with him getting a mugshot basically, and then getting booked, and then walking out into this storm of reporters, and then we get the title. So that felt more kind of like a TV show opening or something. And it's nice not having this, big title page right at the beginning and kind of having it break up used as a plot device, basically, to break up the story. That was pretty cool. Uh, so Mayor Fisk is giving, aka the Kingpin, giving his statements to the media. Talking. And then we get to see Daredevil in court. He's able to get out on bail because there's no reason for him to be kept behind bars before his trial. And so he's talking with his friend Foggy Nelson, who's going to be representing him in this case. And as Foggy's like, yeah, we need to come up with a strategy, Daredevil just jumps off the roof and is like, yeah, don't worry, I'm going to make sure of it. And Foggy's like, wait, we didn't figure anything out. But it's kind of cool just seeing this kind of action scene and, very Daredevil-ish. So Daredevil basically is like, well, in case I go to jail, I want to take care of much crime and wrap things up as much as possible before, I get locked up. So even though he's already being tried for murder, he still goes and fights criminals, even though that could be used in the prosecution against him. But he's like, I need to do it. So as he's fighting, there's a little bit of internal dialogue that's actually really good. So he jumps out and he says, it's been a while. Time to put the fear of the devil into some people. I shouldn't be doing this. Anything the prosecution can use against me, they will. But the point of everything I've gone through is that this is me. This is who God wants me to be. I'm Daredevil. And I'm careful. I'm deliberate. I don't know them, their story. I take no joy from this. So he's doing this because he's trying to, well, first of all, Matt Murdock is, I would, at least from what I know, a devout Catholic. And so he wants to do what he feels God is calling him to do. And it's really, really, really nice and refreshing to see even just like the name of God in a comic book in 2020. These days it seems like anything to do with Judeo-Christian religion, theology, anything is frowned upon. And so to have the main character, the person you're rooting for, be a religious, Catholic, which is some, has some similarities to Christianity and all of that. It's just nice to see that being portrayed in a positive light instead of, it's like so often these days you see any sort of religion being portrayed as some kind of cult or something. It's like, no. Religion gives you, well, Christianity, gives you so much joy in life just knowing that there's a God, the God, that loves you and has a plan for you. It's like it puts so much more purpose into your life. But it's it's just cool seeing Daredevil talking about this is what God wants me to be, a hero. And he's like I don't take any joy from beating these people up. I wish I didn't have to, but they're doing evil and they need to be stopped. It's like, yep, that's blessed are the peacemakers. For they shall be rewarded. And he's making peace. He's stopping evil. So then Iron Man shows up. He was called in by Foggy to try and, get Daredevil to stop fighting, I guess. And this is the same Tony Stark we've been seeing over the last 5 years. He's kind of obnoxious. Well, kind of obnoxious. Like, very obnoxious. and like he blows up this big shipment of guns, and he's like, if there's one thing Iron Man loves to do even more than fighting street crime, it's getting rid of guns. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, well, it's the guns are not the problem; it's the people. But you're a rich billionaire, so what do you know? Um, this part I didn't get because I don't know the lore of Daredevil or again Marvel comics that well. But apparently Wilson Fisk has helped this chick named Mary, who somehow is connected with the church in some way. I don't know. Anyway, this was a really interesting scene between Matt Murdock and Tony Stark. Tony Stark doesn't know Daredevil is Matt Murdock, but basically, Daredevil is talking about how the people he's trying to stop are these rich billionaires who want to buy this neighborhood and force all the people living there to move out so they can, demolish the buildings that are there and rebuild and make a bunch of money off of this project. And it sounds kind of familiar to what's happening in my own city, which has been very frustrating to see because, all of our open fields are being filled up by buildings and apartments, and so this resonated with me. And basically, Daredevil wants Tony Stark to buy the block himself and then rent out the apartments and the you know buildings that businesses are in. Daredevil wants Tony Stark to rent them out for cheap so that the people can stay there. And Daredevil and Tony Stark is like, "What? You you're asking me to help people financially? I mean, I've saved the world." And Daredevil is like, "Yes." And I mean, that's important because people need the earth to live on. But what you don't understand, because you have been raised, you had rich parents, you've never struggled a day in your life. What you don't understand is that these people, they they need that brick and mortar building to have some kind of stability in their life and to show them that, you know, all of their hard work is worth something. Um, and basically, Daredevil is like, dude, you're just not gonna get it because you have never been one of just the normal people. Um, and he's like, Daredevil says, "You called me street level earlier. I call it people level." And oh yeah, this is where Tony says, "I do help people. I save the world." And um, Daredevil is like, "Yeah, but there's so much more you can do. You're a freaking billionaire." Um, so I just really enjoyed this scene back and forth, and Zdarsky does a great job of, you know, just I know rich people. It's like sometimes they just don't get it. It's like you're just not gonna understand because you've never had to struggle. You've never you've never lived paycheck to paycheck. It's a completely different way of life. You view things completely differently. And it's like, you know, when you're rich, you might be able to just say, "Oh yeah, well, I'll just move to a different building." But when you don't have money and you can't just do that, what you have, is yours. You get attached to it because it is proof that your hard work is meaningful. So anyway, and then Tony Stark says, "I'll look into it." Um, but in the meantime, while you're on this crusade, basically to stop these billionaires, If you need equipment to help with that, it looks like you could use an upgrade. And what I like about Daredevil's costume is it's it's like him and Spider-Man really are the only heroes left that have just regular old I, I don't know if this is spandex, but it's just he made this himself, just fabric. It's not like Batman now has an actual suit where it's more like a armor. Daredevil doesn't have that. It's just, like maybe a little bit thicker than a t-shirt or a sweatshirt, and some probably like jean type, um, or thickness. That's it. So Tony Stark offers him to do an upgrade, which I assume in next issue we'll see something like this, except we'll see the whole suit. We don't actually see that in this comic. And anyway, that's pretty much the most interesting parts of this. It ends with Daredevil back at Foggy's office, and in walks Daredevil's ex-girlfriend, who again, no idea who this is. It's not the girlfriend from the TV show, and that's the only thing I would know. But anyway, it looks like next issue we're going to get a Daredevil Spider-Man team up, which my introduction to Daredevil was through a Spider-Man cartoon. So I'm really excited to see them team up again. And Zdarsky writing Spider-Man should be pretty good. And of course, Daredevil, he's doing a great job at writing. So I'll definitely be picking that up. And that pretty much does it for the review. So thank you guys for watching. If you're subscribed, make sure you're still subscribed and ring that bell for notifications. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and I will see you in the next review. Bye.